As a bard from Sarawak, I don on the bardic uniform of my native land. Okay, so it's not about me. Today is part 3 of chapter 1 of the Autherens. We continue. Names and wishes. The Emperor has no name. Names in the heavens are not given lightly. They emerge from essence and purpose. Like a river called such because it flows from source to sea, a name reflects one's worth. My own name, Garodha, reflects my role like the mythical bird Garuda. I traverse worlds carrying messages and bridging realms. The Emperor's name, Autherens, mirrors his role as the author and ruler of this universe. Yet the Empress remains nameless, for her actions have not yet defined her essence. I fled the heavenly chambers quickly, desperate to escape. Behind me, the Empress's attendants, beggarly, clawing women, reached out as if to trap me. Adrenaline surged through me, carrying me forward toward the door. Just as I passed through, the Empress herself lunged, hands grasping for my book, yet she failed. The silence behind me was deafening. I needed to hide. Ahead loomed a large pillar, wide enough to conceal me. I darted behind it, gasping for breath, fear prickling my skin. Would they see my shadow? Time stretched. The groans of the crones faded. They hadn't followed. My breathing slowed. Then, thump! The sound reverberated through the air. Another thump, and another. Fear tightened my chest. I crouched low, pressing my ear to the ground. The noise seemed to come from the stairwell, opposite the throne room doors. A guard descended the stairs. I couldn't see him clearly, but knew staying here would only lead to my capture. Closing my eyes, I willed myself away. World of orange. When I opened my eyes, I was surrounded by an overwhelming orange glow. My body floated in this strange color, my feet dangling as though suspended in air. Orange, I whispered, perplexed. A man appeared clad in a white robe resembling the Emperor's. He approached, his serene presence soothing my nerves. Do you need help? He asked. Yes, please. Are you here to arrest me? I asked cautiously. He smiled gently. I've spoken to my wife. She will obey my decrees. You have nothing to fear from her. If you wish to go home, simply imagine it. Before I could respond, he disappeared. My bad. Back to the mortal world. I found myself back in my house, my heart pounding. Relief washed over me, but a lingering unease kept me on edge. Thoughts of those with ill intentions filled my mind, and suddenly I felt myself vanishing again. I reappeared outdoors, running, though I didn't know why. Ahead I saw 2 streams of water, one flowing upstream and the other downriver. Compelled, I chose a stream flowing against its source. As I paddled along, I realized this river represented my will. From now on, rivers would flow according to my choices, not the other way round. But fear of those with material blood continued to haunt me. My thoughts manifested chaos around me. Thugs in torn clothes, graffiti-scarred streets, and the stench of decay filled my senses. I tried to pass unnoticed, shielding my eyes as I walked. A hand grabbed my shoulder, sending a shiver down my spine. Who are you? A gruff voice asked. I turned to see a muscular man in a worn sleeveless jacket. His head was bald, his gaze fixed on what I was holding. New around here? He sneered. What's that in your hand? It's just a map, I lied, trying to deflect his interest. There ain't no paddy fields here, squire, he scoffed. What are you, rich enough to travel to tropical paradises? I turned to leave, but as I walked away I heard thump, thump, thump behind me. They were tapping their boots on the cobblestones, mocking me. The theft. As I rounded a corner, one of the thugs rushed past me, muttering an apology. Distracted by his politeness, I didn't notice my hand was suddenly empty. My book was gone. Panic surged as I realized the thief was part of the gang. I followed him back to the pub, where he tossed the book to his friends lounging on the steps. "This ain't no map," one of them jeered, flipping through the pages. "Did you write this?" They passed the book between themselves, laughing. Furious, I reached for the book, narrowly avoiding their slaps and jabs. Finally, I grabbed it and ran. "Get him!" one shouted. I heard the thud of footsteps and a growl of motorcycles being pushed instead of ridden. I prayed I wouldn't trip. Of course, a stone appeared in my path. I stumbled, hitting the ground hard. "Help me, Autherens," I cried. "Return the book to me." In an instant, the book was back in my arms, and I was home once more, safe and sound. A new threat. Exhausted, I placed the book on a shelf in my library and went to bed, confident that I was finally free of those thugs. The next morning, sunlight poured through my curtains. To my horror, a new gang had arrived. Bigger motorcycles, long beards, and marijuana smoke clouding the air. I clutched the book tightly, resolved to throw it away to stop this endless cycle of trouble. A knock came at the door. One of the bikers stood outside. "Excuse me, sir. Could we use your phone? We're lost," he said, snuffing out his cigarette on the floor. Reluctantly, I let him in, but instead of heading for the phone, he went straight to my bookshelf. "You're quite the collector, aren't you?" he said, eyeing my books. I grabbed the book from the shelf and moved to the window, keeping it closed. When I turned back, he was gone. The door was ajar, and the gang had vanished, but I knew they wouldn't stay gone for long. Becoming what I feared. Desperate, I mounted a motorcycle of my own, speeding through the paddy fields. Pursued him. "Stop, thief!" I shouted. "That book is mine!" In my frenzy, I realized I had become what I feared, a thug chasing shadows. By Autherens, guard my thoughts and give me strength. Return the book to me. The book reappeared in my hands, and I returned home, vowing to guard it more carefully. For now, I was safe under the protection of my Lord. The next day, I ventured to the fiery mountain and threw the book into its furnace. That's the end of part 3, Names and Wishes. And we'll look at part 4 next week, Trouble in Paradise, as we continue chapter 1 of Autherens 1. My apologies for reading maybe too fast, but it is quite a fast-paced part of the story. And I thank you for listening.